So this is where is Young Disciple at? Is Young Disciple in the comments? I really need Young Disciple to be in here for this. Young Disciple, if you're in the if you here, man, say something in the comment section, because this is the part where you gotta. I mean, I gotta take you to school a little bit, right? This is, I mean, and it's funny how it happens because either either I was right about what I was saying to you maybe a couple of weeks ago about efficiency, or your favorite player, LeBron James, is watching the Man Down Sports. Is one or the other. It could be both, right? So Young Disciple, come here, like Bubba Dub say, come here, Young Disciple. Where you at? Somebody go get Young Disciple, man. He gotta see this one. He gotta see this one. Okay, so so Young Disciple, we was having a conversation. As a matter of fact, I'll play the conversation for you. Where's the conversation at? Here we go. Y'all remember this conversation right here about efficiency? Efficiency is just not field goal percentage. And I hate people that say efficiency.
Bro, in basketball it is, bro.
No, it's not. In basketball. Okay, so remember that. I'm explaining to him efficiency because this conversation started because people like Chris Broussard and Young Disciple and other people would say, Kobe Bryant he's not efficient. He's not an efficient player because he shot 46% for his career. He's not efficient, right? And I'm like, well, efficiency it goes beyond field goal percentage. I mean, like, efficient basketball actually means more in other areas than your field goal percentage. I think field goal percentage is the worst way to measure an efficient basketball player. Like, that's the worst way. But I'm not saying if you had like a gumbo mix of what efficiency is, field goal percentage could be in there, but it's an ingredient that I probably could do without, right? But all the other things are very necessary, right? The other things I was describing is what efficiency really is, right? So this is what I'm explaining to him. And he's saying efficiency is just field goal percentage. That's what he said.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. What else is efficiency?
Well, I'm about to tell you, but you doing too much talking, right? You
okay, go ahead.
All right, so efficiency is, well, first of all, field goal percentage is field goal percentage. I'm not about to, if something got a word for it, I'm going to use that word, field goal percentage. I'm not using efficiency to describe field goal percentage because it's so much more to efficiency. You could be an efficient.
Well, bro, that's the basketball word. That ain't me. I didn't come up with that, bro.
And that's my point. You can be efficient in so many different ways, right? Here's how you become an efficient scorer, because there's so much things is going on in the possession. One, you got 24 seconds to shoot the ball. Right? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who is more efficient? The guy who has the ball, who got 2 screens set to get him a mismatch. He took about 15 dribbles and he used about 18 seconds of the shot clock to get his shot, versus a guy who didn't have the ball and just came off one screen, caught it, took 1 dribble in the mid-range and pulled up, and he only used 5 seconds, 1 dribble, and 1 screen. Which one was a more efficient play?
No.
Which one?
I don't even know what you asking, bro.
Exactly.
I don't even know what you asking.
And that's my point. That's my point.
Talking about 1 dribble, 2 dribbles.
Yes. Okay.
What?
Okay. All right.
Efficiency, bro.
Yes, it does.
Not in basketball.
No, that's efficiency, bro. Doing less work to get the job done.
Bro, that is the definition of the word. Yes, I think I agree with you.
And that's what it means in basketball.
No, it does not.
What's more?
When somebody say efficient in basketball, bro, ain't nobody talking about, bro. Dribbles.
Oh, really? I am.
Bro, we talking about basketball, though, bro.
Yeah, I am. Do you dribble? Do you dribble in basketball?
I'm not talking about me and you, bro.
Do you dribble in basketball?
But big bro, I'm not talking about me and you, bro. I'm talking about in a basketball world, bro. They're not talking about, nigga, how many dribbles you take.
And that's why. So his whole stance is efficiency has nothing to do with how many dribbles you're taking. It's only about your field goal percentage. He said no one in the basketball community or the basketball world talks about efficiency when it comes to dribbling the basketball, how many times you dribble it, how many seconds you take off the shot clock, how many screens you use, how much movement you're using. All that, any wasted energy is what efficiency is. So in basketball, it's going to be anything that you can waste, and you definitely can waste dribbles. He said no one talks about dribbling the basketball when they speak of efficiency. Well, guess what, young disciple? Your king, and let me look in this camera. Your king said just that on Game the Mind podcast. Here we go.
But going back to like in Europe, in Madrid, they're teaching you to play and think through the prism of team game, making the right decisions. You know, our kids are a little bit corrupted, partly by social media, that it's about his bag. He's got this. What can he do here? What can he do?
What does it even mean?
Right. Bag of tricks. But you know, like, think about it. Like, you guys both you made a couple tonight, crazy shots. You made a couple tough fadeaways tonight. But the reason you guys are great players, because most of the time you can do the easy shit. Get to the rim, finish, make your free throws, make your open threes. Okay, then you get to the step back, boom. The game is won on making fundamental plays, not your bag, right? I know they don't talk about that in Europe when you're growing up.
Yeah,
right?
no, I never heard the thing bag since until I came to the NBA.
Right. And when I was growing up, it wasn't talked about it. Like the least amount of dribbles to get where you need to get to was what I grew up watching.
Efficiency.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times, you know, to get to the spot. He'd get to a spot and raise. You
know? Wait. Did he just say what I think he said, young disciple? Did Steve Nash and LeBron James just sit down on Game the Mind podcast? And so this is what you got to understand about people when they talk, right? Sometimes when they're trying to sell something to you, right? Sometimes you got to understand that what they're presenting to you might be a lie, but they might say something true to validate that lie. But that truth that they say is really what you really can learn from what they just said. So what he's really trying to say is he's trying to present to you that bag don't matter. Having a bag don't matter because he don't have a bag. And he's tired of hearing people on social media say he don't have a bag. So what he's trying to present to everyone is that it don't matter to have a bag. But in order for him to make that a true statement, he had to give something up. And he had to admit that efficiency is about how many dribbles you're taking. It is about those type of things, right? He had to admit that. That's something that go against him and goes for Kobe. And it goes for Michael Jordan. Right? Because those are things they were good at. These are not things that LeBron is good at. Because LeBron is the king of give me the ball, come set me a screen. I'm dribble. I call for the screen. I use the screen. I dribble that way. If I get the mix match, now I back out. Still dribbling, I back out. Spread the floor. I got the mismatch I want. Now I can go one-on-one. And that's his game. That's 10, 15 seconds gone. At least 10 to 12 dribbles gone. And you done use the screen and you did all of this, and that's less efficient than catch and shoot. That's less efficient than I'm sitting in the post, give me the ball, one dribble fade, one dribble up and under, two dribble pull up, which takes 3 to 5 seconds to do and 1 to 2 dribbles to do. That's more efficient basketball. What LeBron plays is less efficient basketball. But to validate that you don't need a bag, he had to admit what efficiency really is and that he really knows what efficiency is. So I'll let you hear it again.
The least amount of dribbles to get where you need to get to was what I grew up watching.
Efficiency.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling.
The least amount of dribbles to get to where you need to get to. And that's what he was taught when he was young. And Steve Nash said, yes, efficiency.
The least amount of dribbles to get where you need to get to was what I grew up watching.
Efficiency.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times.
Don't that sound exactly like what I was saying?
And raise. Isaiah Thomas, as great of a handle Isaiah Thomas had, Isaiah get to a spot and raise.
Don't that sound exactly like what I was saying? Like, we sat here on this podcast and I tried to explain to this dude for over 25 minutes that's exactly what efficiency is, dog. I never forget. I was playing one-on-one on a Saturday morning with one of my good friends. The basketball court was in his neighborhood, and actually you could see the basketball court from his window, from his room. So he was close to us. I used to walk down there, used to get my shots up. Right, I was out there super early. This particular day, he came out there with me, and I had already got my shots up. And he was like, "Let's play one-on-one." I'm playing on one-on-one, and at this time I was a little bit more advanced than him. I think we probably was 14 at the time. I was a little bit more advanced than him, so I'm handling the ball and I'm doing everything. I'm getting past him and coming back, pulling. I'm doing all this crazy stuff. Right, I'm still winning the game, but this old head walked by. Never seen this dude before. He walked by. And he just looked at me and just shook. Now I see the old dude coming and he watching us play. So now I'm trying to show out, right? Trying to show out, and he just not impressed, just shaking his head. And then after the game was over, he pulled me to the side and he said, "You wasting a lot of dribbles and a lot of energy out there. Like, you don't have to play like that. That's not good. Like, we know you can handle the ball. You don't have to show us that on every play. You're obviously a little faster than him. Just blow by him and get the layup. You got the handles, that's good. You can use them if a defender is really that good that you can't get by and you might have to shake them off. You can use it then. But don't use stuff like that when you don't have to. Just blow by him and get the layup." And at 14, that's when I changed. Like, I changed that day. Like, I didn't take time. This was an older cat telling me this. I didn't take no time. I didn't waste no time to not take that advice. From that day on, I started working on just blowing by people with the least amount of dribbles as possible. Mid-range game was good. I had a good back down game. To only be 5'9", 5'10", I had a good back down game for a guard. Look at the way SGA play. You get to a spot, you rise up. You don't have to get all the way to the rim. You got a mid-range right there. Pull up. That's what MJ did. That's what Kobe did. I get to a spot, I rise up, there's the shot. 1 dribble, 2 dribble, 3 dribble, pull up. There's nowhere in the half court setting where I can't get to I can get all the way to the rim with 2 dribbles anywhere from the 3-point line. I only need 2 dribbles. And from the 3-point line, you really only need 1. But when against defense, you might have to take a shorter dribble. You can't just extend all the way. But really from the 3-point line, if you're just playing one-on-one, I can get a layup with 1 dribble. I can get a mid-range with 1 dribble. You really don't need that many dribbles. So that's what efficiency is. Mostly, it's your time. You can waste time. So you can be efficient with your time. You can be efficient with how many times you dribble the ball. You can be efficient with how many screens you need or use. You can be efficient with what I would say dribbles, time, screens, movement, all that stuff. That's efficiency. And field goal percentage is really just field goal percentage. Field goal percentage is not efficiency unless you're describing it. Oh man, the way field goal percentage is efficiency is if I took 25 shots to score 20 points and you took 20 shots to score 20 points, I guess. Right? I guess you're more efficient. Maybe let's say you took 10 shots to get 20 points and I took 15 shots to get 20 points. I took more shots to get the same amount of points. So you could say I did more work, but field goal percentage don't tell you that who did the most work or who wasted the most energy, because you don't waste shots. A high percentage shot is a high percentage shot. It's either going to go in or it's not going to go in. So if I'm just missing shots, that don't tell me if I'm efficient or not. That just tells me I'm off today. Missing shots don't mean you're efficient or not efficient. It tells me you're either on or off. It don't tell you if you're efficient. Right? It don't. It don't tell me if I wasted energy or wasted movements or wasted shit. You can't waste a shot. How do you waste a shot? You can't waste it. You know, this is another thing I learned when I was young. I learned I'd rather take a forced shot or a bad shot when I got my big man down there in position for a rebound, because I didn't think if any shot that I've practiced over a long period of time, I know I can hit this shot. I practice it. It's not a bad shot to me. The only thing that makes it a bad shot is if I take it too early in the shot clock without enough passes to try to get something easier. Right. So and if I take it like on a jump shot on the fast break and there's nobody down there, especially my big is not nowhere down there for the rebound. Right. That's a bad shot. But it's been times where I might get up in the air and maybe it was a bad decision because I got up in the air to make a pass and the pass is not there no more. Instead of me coming down and having a turnover or throwing the bad pass and having a live turnover that can turn into a fast break, if my big man's down low, I would take that shot. It might not be the best shot, but my big man got an opportunity to get the rebound. I'd rather take that mid-range shot right there that somebody might say is a bad shot, and I might miss it, and it might drop my field goal percentage. But what if I miss it, and then big Shaquille O'Neal down there gets the rebound and dunk it in? Pau Gasol or Andrew Bynum gets the rebound and dunk it in. Dwight Howard gets the rebound and dunk it in. Like Kobe played with big men. So if he takes a shot and miss, it's a great possibility they go clean it up. Great possibility. So what you see is a missed shot. We still end up getting 2 points from it. So you got to think about stuff like that. Field goal percentage don't tell you who the better player is. I'd rather him have that shot than him be the number one player in turnovers of all time. The number one all-time turnover king. I'd rather his field goal percentage be a little bit lower than his turnover rate be that high.
You know, Isaiah Thomas, as great of a handle Isaiah Thomas had, Isaiah get to a spot and raise. You know, all these guys that I grew up, Grant Hill, get to a spot. I'm bigger than you.
Straight line.
Big Dog Robinson, I'm bigger than you. Allen Houston, all these great players, that I grew up watching and admiring. Penny Hardaway, yes, they could dribble the basketball, but it's no Tracy McGrady. Even as great as Tracy's handle was, I'm bigger than you. I'm gonna get to the spot and at least amount of dribbles. Kevin Garnett, it's
good footwork. Get
just
up over
good
top.
footwork. Get over the top. If I'm bigger than you and I get you on my shoulder, I get you on my hip, I'm gonna use my size. I see it all the time. It's like, I'll be on social media. It's like LeBron has no bag. It's like I'm sitting over here with
what is that?
LeBron has no bag, and I'm sitting like I have 50 billion points.
Right.
Hey, that's a good point. Bleezo Gotti, the guy, he describing a style of play that doesn't fit him. He does not play like that. So how is he trying to kill the LeBron has no bag narrative by explaining how efficient Mike, Kobe, Isaiah, Garnett, and these guys are? Glenn Robinson, Allen Houston. He explaining, he's putting all these names out there who play nothing like him. And he played nothing like them. So you're trying to validate you not having a bag and trying to kill that narrative by talking about people who do have bags. right? And you can't kill that narrative. You either have a bag or you don't. Why are you trying to protect yourself from the no bag narrative when we all know you don't have no bag? It's okay. You don't have to have a bag. You don't have to come out here and puff your chest up and try to validate yourself and try to kill a false narrative that you think is false, but it's actually true. Like, you're admitting you don't have a bag. You're basically saying, why would I need a bag? I got 50,000 points or 40,000 or whatever he's at. And that's a good flex. What I need a bag? That's true. You don't need a bag, but they're trying to act like having a bag is a bad thing. Ain't nothing wrong with having a bag. Like I just told you, I was trying to show my bag, and the old head came and told me, you don't need to do that. Just blow by and get the points. Do I still have a bag? Yes. Am I showing it every time I get the ball? No. Does Kyrie Irving have a bag? Yes. Is he showing it every time I get the ball? No. Sometimes it's 2 dribble pull up. Did Kobe have a bag? Yes. Did he show it every time he got the ball? No. 1 dribble pull up. But it's okay to have a bag and know when to pull stuff out of your bag. Half the stuff that Tim Duncan was capable of, we didn't see. That don't mean he didn't have it and didn't work on it. I use it whenever the situation calls for it. Like when Kyrie Irving was going left for a game winner, and they switched out, I think, Rudy Gobert on him or somebody like that, somebody tall, and he didn't have enough time to get back to his right hand to get a shot. Plus, it was over a 7+ guy with his outstretched arm. So he already going left. His momentum's going left. He can't switch it. So what's in his bag? A daggone left-handed hook. A running hook. Y'all remember that from last year? Or was it year before last? This man threw a game-winner left-handed running hook. And wasn't nowhere near the rim. It was 1 step in front of the free throw line. Left-handed hook. That's called bag. You might need to dribble out of some trouble or some danger. You might get caught up in the corner. I remember Kyrie got caught up in the corner, and he still had a dribble that he ain't used yet, but he was pivoting and he was right there in the corner. And somehow, with just a triple threat and pivoting, he got his way out of a corner where he was almost trapped and turned that into 2 points. There's nothing wrong with having a bag. Don't try to act like a bag is horrible. They out here laughing at bag. I mean, they talked about it on ESPN and Fox. Chris Broussard was just clowning people with bags. Kevin Durant got a bag, but he don't affect winning like LeBron. You really think LeBron affect winning the way he think? Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, LeBron don't affect winning. He affects bringing help in superstar form. That man really tricked these dudes, or he really paying good.
Leading scorer of all time in the NBA, no bag.
That
proves the point.
Yes, just play the game the right way. And I hope that our generation, our younger generation, don't get, swamped by saying, okay, I need a bag, I need a bag, I need a bag.
But that's the biggest point. And I'd love to hear your perspective on this, but all the time you're doing this that you're never ever going to use as the levels go up, if you can just make open shots, space the floor.
That's a damn lie. You are going to use this shit. You just don't have to. You use it when it comes up. Don't discourage people from working on their freaking game. Everybody is not 6'6", 270 that runs like a point guard. Everybody is not there. Everybody's not 6'8". Steve Nash, you should know this, you idiot. You a 6'1" guard. The funny part about this is the people who's discouraging bag, they both have bag. Luka and Steve Nash have bags. Like, they literally have bags. And they sitting up on his podcast helping this dude destroy everybody's image of a player who got a bag. Golly, boy, this is insane.
Yeah. Play smart, you can go up a level.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, like he said,
yeah,
I don't have nothing more to add.
That man said, yeah, like he said, I ain't got nothing else to add. You heard, you noticed Luke ain't say nothing. He said, I ain't got nothing else to add. I'm not about to, like, this is a stupid conversation. Are you serious? And then he go say, I mean, I never heard of bag before I came to America. Idiot, English is your second language. Of course they don't talk like that over there. Nobody says bag over there in Slovenia. That's slang. If I go over to Slovenia and I say I've never heard this slang before, that don't mean what you're talking about is invalid. You can't invalidate bad work by saying Luke ain't never heard of it before he came to America. That is like, these people really think is idiots watching, and it might be. It really might be. They're on Luca Vantros on that Game to Mind podcast, dancing with his father, LeBron. Insane. I'm gonna open the phone lines up in a minute, y'all. Then Luka started talking about how easy it is to score in the NBA and why. He said this before on JJ Reddick's podcast like 4 years ago. Same thing Jokic said, same thing Giannis said, same thing Porzingis said. They all said it's easier to score over here. And he mentioned a couple of reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, right?
But it's true, yeah.
But the thing is, like, you know, you guys are creators. You know, in the way the game's played today, we put shooters on the floor to create space for the creator.
Exactly.
Mhm.
They make you better by creating space.
Oh yeah, I forgot this last part. This is Nash and LeBron validating LeBron's play style again.
You make them better by being a creator. The minute one of them starts doing this, they're going out of the game.
Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting the way we perceive, or we allow our kids to perceive that. I don't know why that has been able to have a louder voice than coaching, than fundamentals, than team play.
Right.
You know.
He said that the way we play now is we space the floor, which is what D'Antoni did for Nash. Q Richardson, Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson, that year he played in Phoenix, led the league in 3-point makes, and Q Richardson led the league in 3-point percentage. Then you got Steve Nash. Then you got Amari Stoudemire setting the screens for Steve Nash. So Amari Stoudemire was setting the screens. Steve Nash coming off the screen. Amari Stoudemire rolling. It was either Lob City or some bounce pocket pass for Amari Stoudemire dunk. That screen and roll with Nash and Amari was killer, right? And then when you tried to stop the roll, you got Q Richardson or Joe Johnson or Sean Marion. All three of them was hitting the threes like nobody's business, right? Joe Johnson was a number one in Atlanta. I mean, he left Phoenix because he knew he could do more. It was the same situation with Brunson playing with Luka. I can't like no who knew Joe Johnson could do more than just shoot threes, because he shot the three really well. But we didn't never see Joe Johnson get the ball and be able to get in his bag. And you hear Steve Nash explain why. He said, y'all both are creators. Today's game, we just spread the floor with a lot of spacing, and the one guy is creating for everyone. And what did he say? He said, if one of those other guys try to dribble and do this, they're out of the game. This is why people like Michael Porter Jr., people think that he can't play. All he can do is shoot. This is why people think Jamal Murray can't do much, because they're playing in that system, spread the floor. One player is going to create for everyone. Spread the floor, one player is going to create for everyone. But when Brunson leave that system and go away from Luka and leave that system, he turns into an immediate all-star. When Joe Johnson leaves that system and go to Atlanta, he turned into an immediate all-star. And we was like, dang, man, he got a whole bunch in his bag. He one of the best scorers in the league. You would have never knew it playing with Steve Nash. You would have never knew it playing with Steve Nash. Sean Marion left and went to Dallas, championship.
But, you know, I think in Europe, like watching EuroLeague now, watching EuroLeague before, it just like it's more about the team, you know, team-wise, teamwork. But it's different rules in NBA. I always said that. When I said it's easier to score in NBA, is because it's just different rules. You have a lot of more spacing. You have more minutes. It's 8 more minutes. Anything happen in 8 minutes. So it's just because of that. Like in Europe, you get a big guy like, for example, like Eddie Tavares. He plays in Madrid. He's just standing in the paint. Like he can stand in the paint. He's 220.
Right.
It's hard to score. Like it's impossible. Here you can't do that because it's 3-second violation.
Yeah. Again, I mean, the NBA is trying to make it as entertaining as possible too, right? So the game's slightly different than in Europe, where it's still maybe the roots of the game are still there. But it is like it's an interesting point to think about.
This man said it's easier to score than NBA. He said a couple of reasons why. One, I mean, you go score more points because it's more minutes. It's 48 minutes, right? But also he said the spacing is unreal. Like over in Europe, the spacing is not there. This is how the NBA used to be in the 90s and early 2000s. A big man was always down low on offense and defense. Shaq didn't leave the paint unless he was setting the screen for somebody, but he needed to be down low in that paint. So did Barkley, so did David Robinson, so did Chris Webber, so did Rasheed Wallace, so did Sabonis, so did Rick Smits, so did Patrick Ewing, so did Akeem Olajuwon. Like them dudes lived in the paint. So all of that spacing and that dribble drive that you think you're going to have, you're not going to have it. And when you got more spacing, maybe you don't need a bag. Maybe you just need to be a road runner. Just run. There's all types of space, so I can just run full speed to the rim. And there's so much space that when you come to double to help, if I'm beating my man off the dribble and you come to help, it's a guy wide open for a three. That's the simplest, easiest game. The floor spread, give it to the fastest player with the ball, let him run full speed at the rim. And if you double, he's just going to make a pass and there's a three. And there's an assist. And you just keep doing that for 4 quarters. Just keep doing it, just keep doing it, keep doing it. That's what the NBA game is. And he said in Europe, they're still utilizing big men. There's no three in the key on defense. We added defensive 3 seconds so there will be more points and more layups and more dunks. Like they Adam Silver and David Stern ruined the game for entertainment. Steve Nash just said it. He said, we want more entertaining basketball, more entertainment. And he said Europe still got the roots of basketball in their basketball. Like, how do you even admit that and not talk about it? You admitting that what the purest form of basketball is supposed to be a certain way, and they're still doing it in Europe, but we're not doing it here in America. But you're trying to blame the downfall of American basketball on AAU, high school, and trainers teaching bag work. But you're not going to mention anything about the rule changes that made the NBA a more entertaining sport for people that don't like basketball. Because people that like basketball, they didn't mind post play in mid-range and low scoring games, and a game where there was only 2 or 3 dunks in it. They didn't mind it. That's almost like reducing football and taking out so much of football, and then let's say, oh man, we can't kick off the ball no more. Everything got to be an onside kick because that's more exciting. And like every player's like, oh shoot, man, they go get it's only like you have to do an onside kick every time you kick it. Imagine that. Or let's say let's just say, oh man, we go put a new rule in where you can't have a safety. Now we got more over the top passes and people utilizing their speed because you can't have a safety on the field anymore. That's basically what they said. You can't put a big man in the paint to prevent scoring or discourage smaller players from coming in the paint off the drive. We're going to put a 3 seconds in a defensive 3 seconds. That way we're going to make sure the big man is not standing in front of the rim because that'll drive scoring up. Same way in football. If you take away the safety, if you put a rule in there that the safety cannot stand 10 yards back, they can only be 5 yards back. That's the new rule. You will have more over the top plays. You'll see more Randy Moss plays. That's what the NBA did. And Steve Nash just mentioned it and just skated right past it.